Think playing it safe is the smart move in your career? Think again. In this episode, executive coach Yosi Kossowsky reveals why over apologizing, under communicating, and waiting for permission might be quietly killing your momentum. If you're a working mom, juggling a lot, and wondering why you're still feeling overlooked, you're not crazy, but you are ready for a shift. We're breaking down neuroscience-backed insights to help you speak with confidence, advocate for yourself, and lead with strength, not apology. If you're ready to own your voice and lead like you mean it, this one's for you. Hey mama, welcome to Career Growth for Working Moms. If you're stuck in a job that doesn't fit or burning out trying to do it all, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, a career coach and fellow working mom. Here, you'll get simple career strategies and strength-based leadership tips to help you grow with clarity and confidence. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's do this. Hello and welcome. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Yosi Kossowsky. Yosi is an executive coach with over 18 years of experience and more than 30 years in leadership, including roles like Chief Technology Officer and Senior Director of Talent Management. He specializes in helping leaders grow from the inside out, combining neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and real-world leadership strategy to support high performers as they navigate change, build influence, and create inclusive, resilient teams. Yosi, welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you today about authentic leadership and what that looks like for these working moms.
Thank you, Shannon. Really happy to be on your show today.
So you've coached a lot of high-performing women who are balancing it all. What patterns have you noticed when it comes to how women, especially moms, may undervalue their strengths at work?
So I really find that a lot of women in general, no matter how high they get, under the, in a sense, are undervaluing themselves vis-a-vis the men. So
Yes.
where men will often feel completely comfortable about talking about their successes or even their half successes as successes, or comfortably putting themselves forward for something, regardless if they feel they're fully qualified or not, because they believe in and trust that they'll get there. I find that women, a lot of women that I work with, kind of like play it safer from a man's perspective, where I'm working with a woman now. She's pretty senior in a large company, and she was someone spoke to her a couple months ago about a pretty big promotion, and she didn't mention it to her boss or to anybody else. And now it's coming into like reality. And so she went and mentioned it to her boss, and her boss said, yeah, and I know about this for months. And she's like, you never said anything to me. And I said to her, there's a really good chance that a man, as soon as he had heard about the opportunity, would have gone to his boss and say, hey, did you hear about this at all? Like, he would not have waited to bring
Right.
it up. He would have said, this is my career, I own it, I'm going to go fight for it. And not wait for permission, not wait for all the boxes to be checked.
Right.
And that makes this really big difference about we not directly in competition with other people, but in a way we are in
Right.
competition with other people. And so the mindset is, no one is going to fight for me as hard or as much as I can fight for myself. And that's what I need to do. I need to assume that, as a natural human instinct, we all put on our masks first, as we're told, and then and
Right.
then put on the masks of other people. And I understand that a mother's instinct, because I watch my wife, no, I'm gonna put on the kids' masks first and then my own.
Right.
Um, and that, I get that, and it makes sense. And in a business world where you're dealing with mixed gender, that's not how everybody else is going to do it. So make your choice and understand that the other gender is not playing it the same way.
And I would assume with that would also come down to communication with the your boss or whoever your manager, because if they don't even know that you're wanting that promotion or any or that may be coming up, then they don't know. And so you have to communicate, hey, I am ready to take it up to the next level as well, correct?
Right. So,
Yeah.
a basic principle that I try to let everybody understand is no one is a mind reader. No one is a mind reader, and no one reads the tea leaves. There is this thing, well, they should have known. They should have known. I'm like, how should they have known? Well, because they saw that I was leaving early and I was telling them about my challenges in this. And I'm like, and
Right.
right.
Yeah.
The idea that we should automatically detect everybody else's life situation and what they're dealing with and what that should mean and translate, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So if I want somebody to know something, I got to tell them.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree. You got to advocate for yourself, because if you don't, then who is?
Right. And just don't assume in ever, meaning, and honestly, I say this as much to my male clients as I do to female clients, which is no one's a mind reader. No
Right.
one is going to read your tea leaves. And as you say, no one's going to advocate for you the way you can advocate for yourself. So, the other thing, especially when you talk about working moms, is I often find working moms explaining to me why they need to have the schedule they need to have. And I ask them, how do they think their boss or others in the office hear them when they're saying that? Do they hear it as coming from a place of strength or coming from a place of apology?
Oh,
Like,
that's good.
I know I'm letting you down. Well, if you tell me you're letting me down, then I absolutely will accept that you're letting me down.
Right.
Right. So choosing our tone plays a big role. And again, um, I cannot read your mind either or read your tea leaves. And I don't know what you're going to think of me. And my choice is I can influence. How am I going to influence? Not what is the result of that influence necessarily going to be.
Right.
And I need to own my part. So if I'm going to sound apologetic and if I'm going to make it sound like I'm letting you down, then that's how it's going to come over. Versus, look, I'm leaving now. I know that I've got this deadline and I want you to know I've got it covered.
Mhm. That's definitely more positive, like confident.
Right.
You know? Yes, definitely. I could see that. I didn't think about that. Um, and again, that goes back to that communication, but being communicating more confidently. So I love that. So, how does neuroscience play into all of this, and helping people lead better? I'd love to learn some about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what neuroscience has really helped me in the coaching is to understand that this whole thing we've been talking about interpreting and not mind reading, um, really came out to me when I started to understand the role of subjective perception. So, Shannon, when you think of subjective perception, tell me how you think about it in terms of your interactions with other people.
I guess it would be how I interpret how the conversation's going to go.
Okay. So, do you think that my perception and your perception is the same?
No,
Okay. Do you think any two people's perception is the same?
no, probably not.
Okay. So, let's take that down to brass tacks. If no two people are going to perceive the same way when I'm talking to you, how do I know what you're hearing and vice versa?
Yeah. You don't, unless I repeat back what I think that you're saying.
Okay. So now just think about how often in our work environments or really any environment, we check for what the other
Oh,
person actually understands.
mm, that's good. Yes. Probably rarely.
right? So if we don't, we're essentially playing a game of roulette, which is maybe they did understand me the way I wanted, maybe they didn't,
Yeah.
and I'm taking the risk, and I actually have no idea where the ball landed. So,
Right.
right, until we get disappointed, until things don't work out the way we want. And then we're all of a sudden scrambling for how did this happen? What went wrong? And again, part of the way that our defense mechanism plays a role is that, let's say simplistically, the part of our brain that focuses on logic and sense making is different than the part of our mind, of our brain, that controls and deals with emotion. And so we get panicked. Our emotional centers, yells danger, danger. And
Right.
our cognitive logical center is saying, "Ooh, I need to come to the defense. I need to defend that, I need to defend the person who's panicking right now." And so an easy defense mechanism is to blame. Oh, they should have known. I can't believe they did that. They let me down. They didn't tell me. They, whatever they is. When
Right. Blame
reality,
game.
right. When reality is, did I do everything that I could have done reasonably so to cover my bases? Did I validate that they understood what I said? Did I come over as apologetic or confident? Did whatever,
Right.
first me, right? How am I doing? How am I being perceived? How am I checking for that before I go look to blame anybody else?
Yeah. And I think that would apply to someone who's in a higher management, but even lower level of working mom because, hey, I want to make sure I'm doing my task right. So I heard you ask me to do X, Y, and Z. Or if you're a manager, like, okay, can you tell me what you heard me ask you to do? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon, you said it perfectly, because what you avoided was getting a yes or no answer. Because I can say, any questions, anybody? Did you understand me? Right. And I can
Right.
say, yeah, I understood you. And what I'm really answering is, the way that I think I understood you, I understand. Not that I actually understood you, right?
Right.
I understood what my perception told me you said.
Right.
Yeah, check. But that doesn't mean that I actually understood you.
Yeah, and that would I would think that that helps with expectations of and responsibilities, and that helps create a better even work environment as well.
100%. Meaning our whole way of interacting is through communication. And right before you, I was meeting with another leader, actually a female woman leader, another very senior person, and she was reflecting. She goes, I have been communicating my whole life, and I didn't realize how many holes I was leaving in my communication all these years.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I don't know why it's not self-evident. And again, had I not learned the neuroscience therapy work, I don't know if I would have found it so self-evident now either.
Right.
But that's how, to answer your question from a while ago, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the roles that the neuroscience has really informed the work that I do.
I love that. That's just such a great and helpful tip, I think, for everybody listening. So how could they use this maybe for those moms that are transitioning? Maybe they're coming into a new role or trying to come back into the workforce. How would they use that in like this neuroscience that we've been talking about in those kind of situations? Repeating back to them, like, hey, this is what I understand the job's responsibilities are. Is that what you would advise?
I actually would almost take one step further back, which is to re-level set on expectations.
Okay.
Let's get clear. What are my roles, responsibilities? What are the, success metrics? How do you define success? And make sure that you, the manager, me, the return employee, are on the same page of defining what are let's just re-level set. I've been out for, in the US, unfortunately, you only get about 12 weeks, which not really enough time,
Mm-hmm.
in my perspective.
Yeah.
And so, but you've been out for 12 weeks, which is almost 3 months. And so re-level setting, just let's reaffirm or reconfirm roles, responsibilities, success metrics, etc. And on both sides, right? And if it's the person who's listening to this to take that ownership of, I just want to confirm, this is what I'm hearing you say. This is how I understand it.
Right.
Because again, if we can't own it and check it, then the fallout is at least partially on us.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. So what are some mindset techniques or tips that you have for these moms that are listening that maybe feel stretched too thin and they're dealing, because I mean, as a working mom, you're dealing with so many things. Do you have any mindset help that you could offer up for them?
So the first one is own what you're feeling. If you're feeling stretched, you're feeling overloaded, you're feeling overwhelmed, it's not a wrong feeling, it's not a bad feeling. You are. You are feeling that way, and for all the valid reasons. So don't double down on the pressure by blaming yourself for feeling the way you're feeling. All right?
Mhm.
No one no one blames ourselves almost as much as we blame ourselves. And
Truth.
so, you know, you have taken on the most awesome responsibility of building a family and taking on things that even biologically men can't do, at least yet. And it is not something to apologize for. It is not something to, and I'm going to say this word, and I don't think any woman ever feels ashamed of it, but maybe they feel ashamed of the consequences of it.
Yes.
And give yourselves a break.
Yeah.
Give yourselves a break first. Because if you also, again, want other people to give you a break and be understanding, then teach them how to teach and demonstrate that self-care so that other people will see that is how you are treating yourself. Because if they see that you're beating yourself up, then that kind of like says that so that other people can beat you up too.
Right.
And that's just that. I wish we were better about it. Um, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem in our day to day that we are better about it.
That's true. Yes. Totally, definitely. So, Yoshi, where can people find you and connect with you?
The best place is on LinkedIn. So I know that you'll put my LinkedIn link in the show notes, and that
Yes.
is really the best place right now.
Awesome. Well, I love to leave my listeners with one final action step that they can take today. So, what would be a mindset shift that you wish that every one of these high achieving working mamas could make today about towards leadership or even their self-worth?
So the self-worth piece, I think, is for me is if you can appreciate yourself and you can appreciate what you've taken on and really allow yourself to close your eyes and feel that appreciation for yourself, for your life, for what you're juggling and for what you're doing, then I think you'll feel better. If you want to like put some icing on that, smile while you do it. Because when you smile, it automatically kicks off endorphins in the body. Endorphins are these feel good chemicals. And so if you're closing your eyes and you're thinking about how much you're actually doing and being grateful to yourself for being able to do it, and you're smiling, do it for about 10, 20 seconds, maybe even 30 if you're going for the whole, and I believe from my experience, you will feel better.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Shannon. I really enjoyed being on your show, and I wish you the most success as you continue to build your podcast.
Hey, Working Mama. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share it with a friend who's stuck in her career but doesn't want to sacrifice her family to grow? Also, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It seriously lights me up to know this show is helping you navigate burnout, find clarity, and lead with confidence. All right, Time to shut down my laptop and pretend I'm not hiding from folding that laundry. I'll meet you back here soon for another episode of Career Growth for Working Moms. You've got this.